What's up and welcome to another episode of Gizmo Slip Tech. Today I'm going to talk about why I am super excited about the Galaxy S9. I also made a video about why I was disappointed in the Galaxy S9 leaks and rumors. I'll have a link to that at the end of this video. As you know, the Galaxy S8 made a huge splash last year, so people are watching the Galaxy S9. Can Samsung live up to the hype of last year's phone? There are a lot of reasons to get excited about the Galaxy S9, and I think one of the biggest is the new form factor. It's supposed to have quite a bit less bezels. Last year's Galaxy S8 had a screen to body ratio of 84%, which is ridiculously good, one of the very, very best. The Galaxy S9 and S9 Plus are rumored to have potentially up to 90% screen to bezel ratio, which would be absurd because, for example, the iPhone X only had an 83%. A 90% screen to bezel ratio would put the Galaxy S9 so far ahead of the competition design-wise. The only downside of this increased screen to bezel ratio is that it might be a little harder to hold the phone without touching the screen. Now, despite the fact that the S9 will not have an in-screen fingerprint reader as I talked about in the other video, the good news is that the fingerprint sensor location will be improved. Instead of being up next to the camera, it'll be below the camera, making it much easier to reach. I mean, I have big hands. I rocked the Galaxy S8 Plus last year for about 6 months, and it was really hard to reach up all the way and hit that fingerprint reader every time. It was a very deliberate action. Hopefully with the lower placement, it's just a quick, easy tap because it'll be approximately where your finger is anyway. Now, if you're like me and crave a large smartphone, there's some good news. The Galaxy S9 Plus is probably going to have dual cameras, one wide angle and one telephoto. These naturally will have improved sensors. On top of that, the S9 Plus will likely maintain the 6 gigs of RAM and 3500 mAh battery. I would much rather that the S9 Plus had a 4000 milliamp battery. Maybe it'll be slightly improved. We don't know for sure, but it should be at least 3500. Now, the biggest reason why I'm excited about the Galaxy S9 is the new Snapdragon 845 processor. Now you say, that's just a processor. How big of a deal can it be? Well, you'd be surprised how many features are dependent on the processor. Loading times, camera quality, and battery life are pretty obvious, but revolutionary new features like improved facial recognition and augmented reality tracking are also heavily dependent on the processor. So how will the Snapdragon 845 affect the Galaxy S9? Well, on top of having an improved camera sensor, the processor's throughput and bandwidth will directly improve the camera's ability to process video files and photos. A better processor means taking more photos per second with better color reproduction, but the thing I'm most excited about is the throughput of the new processor. In theory, the new processor can push 4K 120 frames per second video worth of throughput. Now, realistically, that's too much of a jump. Instead, they're limiting it to 4K 60 frames per second with 10-bit recording with a 2020 color gamut, and that's a huge jump for smartphones. New slow motion modes could include 240 frames per second at 1080, 480 frames per second at 720, and up to 1000 frames per second at 360p. The ability to record at 1000 frames per second is unheard of in a smartphone. It'll be one of the best cheap slow motion cameras available, better than even the iPhone X and 8 Plus. Overall, this new processor could bring us a lot closer to DSLR quality video in our smartphone, and I think that's freaking fantastic. Now, as far as gaming goes, the new Adreno 630 graphics card is both 30% more powerful and 30% more power efficient at the same time. And that's huge. Apple has had the upper hand in graphics and efficiency in mobile gaming for a long time. This should help Android phones and tablets compete with the current set of iPhones and iPads on the market. The Snapdragon 845 comes with better augmented reality tracking. There's been some really cool augmented reality games that came out this year, but most of them were exclusive to the iPhone and iOS market. I think we're on the verge of a big breakthrough with augmented reality gaming when enough people have access to great hardware to be able to play augmented reality games, and then developers are seeing that, seeing the potential market. They create some amazing experiences. I think augmented reality could be the next big thing in mobile gaming. Think about Pokemon Go. It was one of the first video games that you could go out into the real world and play with your friends, walking around, interacting with them, developing great friendships, meeting new random people that you've never met before. I want more gaming experiences like that where I can interact with my friends in the real world mixed with the digital world. I just think that's so cool. The new processor should be more powerful with 4 high power cores and 4 low power cores. Overall, it should be 30% faster, leveraging a higher overall clock speed. This should improve app loading times and overall responsiveness, as well as the ability to increase detail and complexity of games. Now, Samsung also hinted at the fact that there will be something similar to the Animojis from the iPhone 10. Now, I thought the Animojis were really cool when I got an iPhone 10. I was like, look at this, it tracks my face so well. You know, it's the kind of thing you show your friends and then never actually use. It looks like the Galaxy S9 will have that feature, so if you really loved Animojis, then you're probably gonna be really excited about the S9's new facial tracking. Now, the last major thing that I'm excited about is that there should be some major improvements to battery life, probably in the ballpark of 10 to 15%, just from the improved efficiency of the processor, but we'll have to get it in our hands before we know for sure how much of an improvement there will be. Now, I am definitely going to be picking up the S9 and the S9 Plus when they come out. I'll be doing some wacky tests over on GizmoSlip, as well as doing some reviews, camera tests, and all that good stuff here on GizmoSlip Tech. Most likely, pre-orders will open up March 1st, with phones shipping out in mid-March, but it could be as late as pre-orders in mid-March and shipping out early April. Now, I think it's very likely that the S9 will be the best smartphone in the first half of 2018, and that's probably because Samsung will take up all of the Snapdragon 845 chips initially. Last year, the LG G6 came out with the 821 chipset, simply because there wasn't enough 835s to go around. That said, once more competitors get access to the 845 chip, it'll be very interesting to see what happens. So there you have it. That's why I'm excited about the Galaxy S9. I'm looking forward to bringing you more videos on it coming soon. And if you don't want to miss out on those, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to go check out why I was also disappointed in certain rumors and leaks about the Galaxy S9. Link in the description or annotation at the end if you want to go check out that video. All right, that's it for this video. We'll see you next time. Brandon out.